Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 14th of November for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to outline the collective energies that are going to impact upon us all, but please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give each of the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces in much greater detail. Now, the Sun continues in the sign of Scorpio this week, but Mercury and Venus are going to be leaving this sign and moving into the sign of Sagittarius, triggering the first blush of Sagittarius season, which of course we'll pick up furthermore next week when the Sun arrives in the sign of the Archer too. But the significance of Mercury and Venus moving together is that I feel that it's going to be a much freer energy that they bring in. But that's not going to be particularly apparent right at the start of this week, because on Monday, Saturn is obstructing or blocking or inhibiting the energy of the Sun. And of course, the intensity of that total lunar eclipse of the 8th of November continues to pour its energy into all our circumstances in a very disruptive way, particularly around our sense of values, our connections, our sense of self-worth, but also around money. So the transition of Mercury and Venus into Sagittarius can bring some levitation. But of course, technically, Mercury is debilitated in the sign of Sagittarius, but I think it's one of the weakest debilitations. And in fact, I feel that Mercury can thrive in this sign, despite being opposite Gemini, which it governs, squaring Virgo, which it also governs, and of course in a square with Pisces, where it's also detrimented. So we have an opportunity to use the knowledge of Sagittarius and the thinking and the intellect of Mercury in order to transform our situation. So information is going to be important. But with Venus in the mix as well, when it comes to our relationships or even our attitude to money, the truth of our situations is vital. So the higher truth. We've been going through such an intense period collectively, and the quarter moon, which occurs on Wednesday in the sign of Leo, rather emphasizes the dilemmas that we have. You know, at some level we want to enjoy, we want to connect, we want to mix and mingle, but we've had to become much more aware of some very powerful and intense energies which have not been particularly easy. But you know, through the prism of intensity, there can also be the alchemy of positivity. And that happens this week from Tuesday through to Sunday, when the Sun forges an awesome link to Pluto. So if we can see where change can be a good thing and we embrace it and don't resist it, then our circumstances can really be changed in a very positive way. Also, the Sun from Thursday through to Sunday is in a terrific link with Jupiter, of course, now travelling forwards in the other sign it governs of Pisces. So this water trine is wonderful for letting emotions flow in a positive way. Also, Jupiter and Pluto are in a sextile all week, which is one of the most potentially fortunate of all planetary influences. It is true that Mars continues to retrograde. It is true it continues to be in a square with the equally retrograding Neptune. And so information can continue to be distorted, or it can be tricky to really get to the nub of certain matters. But I think generally this is a week that can see us opening up a little bit, or trying to make the most of the scorpionic energies which have been so powerful recently, because obviously Pluto is the ruler, the modern ruler of the sign of Scorpio, and that's like a lightning rod to both the Sun in Scorpio and of course also to Jupiter in the sign of Pisces. So if we're open to evolution, transformation, moving forwards, then the bubbly, bright and very sociable conjunction between Venus and Mercury can bring some levitation to bear. If you would like to ascend above this zodiac broadcast and understand what year 2023 will hold for you personally, please check out my special package, which gives you the rest of this year free in terms of the forecast, all of 2023, but based on your time, date and place of birth. This information completely unique to you, as will be your chart. And in my package with 30% off, you can also get your life roadmap, your character analysis, which can help you to understand some repeating patterns in your life, but also seize opportunities with greater conviction. Please see the link below. And if you're new to my channel, I'd be honoured if you would subscribe. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. But if you'd like to leave any comments and interact with me, I try very hard to answer all of them, so please feel very welcome to do that. And to all my ongoing viewers, thank you so much for all your support. So Libra, your week commencing the 14th of November forecast sees the Sun in House 2 clashing with Saturn in House 5. Not much of a ray of sunshine to start the week, to be honest, but keep with it because it is just on Monday. It is coming to an end. It had been more powerful towards the end of last week. And perhaps there was something that seemed to be a bit of a joy crusher around you. Now, Mars continues in a very adventurous zone, but has slowed with the retrograde. And still any desires you have to break out and do more freedom-loving things are still being conditioned by your responsibilities and obligations and probably a lower vitality. But Jupiter is out of retrograde in your 6th house, which can help you through to the 20th of December to develop more stamina when it comes to your health. And I think really from the start of December, by about the 3rd or 4th, you will see a significant easing of tension, which will be really welcome. Now, the quarter moon in the middle of this week sees the Sun in your sector of friendship, clashing with the Sun in your sector of money, everyday values, your self-worth. Perhaps if there are people in your circle that you're not quite chiming with, it could become a bit more apparent. But with your ruler Venus, along with Mercury, moving midweek into your 3rd house, your gift as a communicator is really going to be showcased over the next few weeks, particularly once the Sun moves into Sagittarius next week. The pace of life is going to pick up. Your ability to be very nimble, how you receive information or share things, or just mix and mingle and have fun, is really maximized in a very charming, bright and vivacious way with this combination. So from the middle of the week, you're seeing a lightening of the vibe. Now, it is true later in the week that the Sun forges a significant link with Pluto and also with Jupiter. Now, the Sun in a trine with Jupiter is one of astrology's most upbeat and uplifting and potentially lucky influences. Because the Sun in House 2 is about everyday money and Jupiter in 6 is about work, is there going to be an offer? We're all facing some significant headwinds at the moment in terms of increased costs, but in actual fact, you can really work some magic towards the end of this week in making the most of your resources, but also finding ways to perhaps squeeze a bit more from your budget, be very economical in terms of your physical vitality. So I think even if things have been tough recently, by the end of this week, you could be seeing some strands developing which actually are very reassuring, but your ability as a communicator really starts to click into gear in a very potent and effervescent way in the second half of this week.